Okay, welcome everyone. James Parker from jamesparkerloft.com, and I just wanted to shoot a quick video uh, just to show the similarities between all the top guys, what they're doing with their trail arm, and how it affects their wrist cock. And I've got two of the best swings in the world, two of the best players in the world, Bubba and Justin Rose, and I've deliberately got these two guys up because I want to go from one extreme to the other. Obviously, Sean Foley coaches Justin Rose, and if you listen to anything that's the kind of stuff that Sean Foley talks about, he talks about the need for the club head to start the move, because the club head has to take the longest arc in the swing, so it makes sense for that to start moving first. I agree. I think that's the easiest way to do it. And also, when the club head starts moving first, you can see how Justin Rose's right arm, if we stop him, say there, at waist height, you can see how this right arm is pretty well folded already, and because of that, he's got a nice early kind of wrist set. Okay, so if we compare that to someone like Bubba, and we'll swap him round, we'll make it a bit easier. If we compare him to Bubba, you can see his hands are about in the same position, but this trail arm is a lot straighter, a lot more extended. So what you tend to find is the more this is extended, the less wrist cock starts to happen. Alright, so Bubba talks in his swing about getting very wide, getting wide and high to try and produce the most power. It obviously works. He's the biggest hitter on tour. So you look at how high his hands are at the top there compared to someone like Justin Rose, who's kept his right arm a little bit more sort of flexed as he goes through. Well, I mean, here's the thing. If you set your wrists earlier, so if this right arm folds earlier, right, you're going to have a little bit more sort of tuck underneath your right armpit. So as you get to the top, right, your hands aren't going to be as high now. As Bubba takes it away, you can see all that space underneath his trail arm here. So he basically loses his connection with his trail arm as he gets to the top. Now, he's still folded his right arm, and then as he starts down, right, he kind of reconnects that arm. Okay, the right arm's folded, as you can see. But what I want to talk about is just how much this right arm, the trail arm, has to extend coming down, right? Has to start unfolding. So there's his right arm. If we pull Justin Rose down about there, you can see how his right arm is still nicely folded, right? But what you tend to find is from this position, when about the lead arm is about parallel with the ground, that's when that trail arm starts to extend. Now, if we figured out that the more this right arm folds, the more we're going to cock our wrists, right? What that also means coming down is that the more this right arm starts to unfold, the more we're going to uncock our wrists, right? So you can see here, in this position, he's got plenty of lag, okay, well past 90 degrees, you can see that. But as his right arm starts folding, you can see down to this position, his shaft's caught back up a little bit, right? So he's back to 90 degrees there at wrist cock. Right arm's extending some more, right arm's unfolding, so it's folding going back, unfolding coming down. or flexing and straightening, whatever terminology you want to use, right? But basically, it's folded, folded, folded to about there. Then it starts to unfold, all right? So there's a pushing out feeling, right? And this is essentially what keeps the left arm straight as well, right? So there's a pushing out feeling. As there's a pushing out feeling, as that right arm starts to extend some more, you can see how the wrist hinge is gradually uncocking, right? So through the shot here, through impact, not quite fully extended yet with the right arm, right? But he has maintained that bent right wrist, right? And that's important, right? Impact on a flat left wrist, we want a bent right wrist. And the right arm doesn't fully extend until about here in this follow through position, right? And you find that with all the top guys, right? So there, plenty of lag. I mean, look how much lag he's got. I mean, that's ridiculous, right? But as you start to see his right arm extend or unfold, the lag gets less and less and less. And it's from about this position when the lead arm's parallel with the ground, right? So what am I saying? What I'm saying is there's many ways to get it to the top and load up, right? There's the transitional bit where we're planting our weight on our front side, you know, whether you one extreme or the other, whether you kind of buy into this modern way of swinging where we want to try and keep a little bit more weight in this forward leg, right? And kind of use that as the anchor and pivot around it and then load more weight up into the forward leg. Or you're kind of very old school like Bubba, where it's all loaded up into this back leg, right? I mean, he's got 80-90% probably under this foot now. This foot's just on its toes, but during the transition, he's planted it back down. So you've got to plant it back down. You've got to plant the weight forward, and as the hips slide, as we plant the weight back down, right? Hips slide, left shoulder pulls. That pulls the arms down to about here. That's what I'd class as the transition. Now, still lots and lots of lag, right? But from there, the right arm's got to steadily extend, right? And you can see as he's coming down, he's getting less and less and less lag until it catches up nicely right at the bottom of his swing there. But you can see even through impact here, he hasn't fully extended his trail arm until about there, right? So at impact, with these lines, not quite fully extended, but very important, still got this bent right wrist, right? Now, what I've seen a lot of amateur golfers is as they come down, when they get to about here, this right arm is way too long in this position, right? So if we've figured out that there's a direct correlation between how much your right arm folds and how much your wrist cock, right? If that right arm gets too long down here, I'll do that in red, right? Then your club's going to be down here somewhere, right? So you've already dumped the club, right? Club head will be down here. By the time you get to impact, by the time you get to impact, the shaft will be probably leaning away from the target a little bit instead of leaning towards the target. All right. So as a drill, if lag is the secret, we want to try and get up to the top. We want to try and keep the trail arm bent, kind of 90 degrees, right? Slide the hips at the start, right? Allow the left shoulder to pull, which then pulls the left arm down, which keeps the lag. And then from there, it's gradually starting to extend the right arm. And I think one of the big differences between pro swings and amateur swings is a lot of amateur swings from the very start there start to extend their right arm. So I think that's a really important bit of information, that during the transition from there to there, you can see how his right arm stays nice and flexed in that 90-degree position. Doesn't start fully extending until about here, when this lead arm's about parallel with the ground. And that way we can get to impact. It's still a little bit bent, which means we can keep this bent right wrist in the process, and the shaft will be leaning forward. Alright guys, I hope that makes sense. If you're watching this on my blog, please leave me a comment or ask a question. If you're watching on YouTube, click the link below the video. Come over to my blog, that's where most of the discussions take place. And also, if you'd like me to help you with golf swing, come over and see me at jamesparkergolf.com. And there's a whole array of online lessons and in-person lessons you can sink your teeth into. Alright guys, thanks very much. Speak to you soon.